Hello, good evening, and welcome to How to Survive. My name's Joe Sherville, and joining me as ever, his voice is like velvet, so give him some appreciation. It's Christopher Morris.
Hello, Joe. How are you?
Bit of a frog in the throat.
I've lived underground.
But other than that, you're okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm good.
Good.
Sorry. Yeah, all good.
This week's movie is called Us, and is from this year, 2019. Directed by Jordan Peele.
Never heard of him.
Available in all good movie projection houses, aka cinemas.
Nickelodeons.
Yeah. We are the How to Survive podcast, and that means we talk about how we would survive in movies. But before we get to that, we usually like to discuss, what we liked, what we didn't like about it, and we, in this case in particular, we'll be pulling apart the different theories and readings of the movie to think about what really went on here. What's this really all about?
And we'll come up with a definite answer, Joe. The definitive explanation for Us.
Yes. There are spoilers ahead, so if you haven't seen Us, go and do it. It's very good. Quite an enjoyable watch. And probably still in the cinemas now, and probably will be for some time. It seems like the sort of thing that they'd milk for a while.
Staying power.
With that said, we'll be ploughing on with a plot recap for anyone who hasn't seen it in a little while after this.
That's a classic right there.
What does I Got 5 on it mean?
It's about drugs.
It's not about drugs. It's a dope song. Don't do drugs.
Get in rhythm. There you go. There you go. Can't believe how big they've got.
Did you hear Gabe got a boat?
He's kidding, right?
He's not kidding.
Hey, I think it's vodka o'clock.
Oh, yeah.
Where's Jason?
Jason?
Where were you?
I didn't know if you were lost. Stick with me, and I'll keep you safe.
There's a family in our driveway.
It's probably the neighbors. But y'all scared of a family? Hi, can I help you?
Zora, put your shoes on.
If you want to get crazy, we can get crazy. What are you people?
It's us.
I got 5 on it. Adelaide is a child who visits the Santa Cruz beach with her parents. This is in the 80s, by the way. When they're both distracted, she enters a hall of mirrors and comes face to face with the back of her own head, which is impossible in a mirror. As you know. Yeah.
That's her first clue that something is not right.
Adelaide is so shocked that she's struck dumb, and her parents seek help for her to recover her speech. Years later, Adelaide is on a summer vacation with her family, husband Gabe, daughter Zora, and son Jason. Gabe suggests that they visit the Santa Cruz beach with their friends the Tylers, who are also staying nearby. But Adelaide doesn't want any of it, appearing stressed and agitated by the whole idea. She eventually capitulates anyway, and they visit the beach. While there, Jason wanders off, causing everyone to become upset and bringing an end to their excursion. That evening, Adelaide insists that she wants to cut the entire trip short and head home. She was so spooked by the whole thing. But before they can react, Jason notices a family standing on the driveway. After a confrontation outside, the family breaks in and is revealed to be exact doubles of themselves. The imposter family are dressed in red overalls and each carries a pair of scissors. The son, as in the imposter version of Jason, has a mask over his face. The Wilson family are detained by their imposters, and Adelaide's equivalent, Red, explains that they are shadow people who have lived in darkness. She explains that while the Wilsons have enjoyed relatively safe and content lives, they have had to subsist on sharp, cold, cruel alternatives to life's comforts, including the strange claim that while they enjoyed warm meals, all they had to eat was rabbit. Various confrontations between the Wilsons and their individual equivalents take place, including the revelation that under his mask, Shadow Jason is badly burned. Gabe also kills his equivalent, Abraham, in a scuffle on their boat. The Wilsons then escape in the boat, heading to the home of their friends, the Tylers. Before they arrive, the Tylers are attacked and murdered by their own gang of doppelgangers. The Wilsons arrive, and through a series of fights and bludgeonings, they finish off the Tyler doppelgangers and leave in their car, heading towards the coast and passage to Mexico. Arriving back at the Santa Cruz beach, they notice that the world has become overrun by the murderous red overall doppelgangers, and that the doppelgangers have formed a line from the beach running deep into the land, joined by the hands.
Yeah.
More confrontations and fights occur, and the imposter Wilson children are both killed. Adelaide's double kidnaps Jason and takes him underground. Adelaide gives chase, and once down there, the nefarious truth is revealed. Red, Adelaide's double, explains that the doppelgangers are the result of what they think is an experiment gone wrong, which created clones of the population of the USA, but these clones lacked a soul and so are incomplete. They are somehow tethered to their real-world equivalents and forced to carry out much the same lives, but in a strange, bastardized way. She was found to be much more capable than most tethered people, so became their de facto leader and led an uprising, which is what we've seen through the events of the film. They fight, and Adelaide kills her double and retrieves Jason. They head upstairs and rejoin Gabe and Zora, driving away in an ambulance. It's then revealed through flashbacks that Adelaide was in fact a double all along, having been switched in the mirror house at the beginning. She couldn't talk because she never learned how, not because she was scared. Meanwhile, underground Adelaide was so capable because she was actually real Adelaide who was born above ground. Jason and Adelaide exchange a knowing look about the truth, and Jason pulls down his wolf mask to hide his face. Hiding from the truth or hiding from his mother?
Yeah, I think it's ambiguous, isn't it? It's not exactly a knowing look. It's a perhaps look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a look that could be pregnant with meaning. What is that meaning? We will discuss that and more right now. What did you think of Us?
I thought it was very good. It was very entertaining. In some ways, I think it doesn't have the surface level sort of urgent feeling themes that Get Out has.
Right. It struggles. It's always going to struggle having Get Out as a bigger brother, isn't it?
It's the difficult second album, isn't it? Obviously. I think the themes, while they are in the film, they're less clear, they're harder to boil down, and they're less topical. You know, race relations in America at the time of Get Out was, an enormous topic. I think there's been a sort of more muted reaction to it compared to Get Out as well, which I think was always going to happen. But I think it's really interesting how Jordan Peele is sort of positioning himself as the new Alfred Hitchcock. He has fun with his audience in very similar ways, which is great to see. There's lots of lovely visual nods. Right at the start when Jason goes for a walk along the beach, he sees the first he sees the first tethered person that we see, which is the tethered version of a man we see holding up an 11:11 Jeremiah sign
at the beginning of the film, right?
And the man is standing in a sort of star shape on the beach,
and it looks like a scarecrow,
right? Yeah. Which looks really strange. But then obviously later you realise that he is the first. He's forming his part of the chain,
exactly.
And he's waiting for people to come on either side. When we see the young, what we later learn is Red in the therapist's office. She's lining all of her toys up on the sand in a way that's evocative of the human chain. The adult Red's clothing becomes more and more covered in blood as the film goes on, so it's like she's wearing overalls.
Right.
And all of the doppelgangers, I think, are wearing the outfit that Michael Jackson is wearing in the Thriller video.
I think it's established. Yeah, red overalls with one glove on the
with
right
one
hand,
glove, right?
Yeah.
Which is in reference to a T-shirt that Adelaide's father wins for her at the fair right at the start of the film, and then she has it stolen from her.
Don't forget that at the end of the Thriller video, it's revealed that Michael Jackson was a zombie all along.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson, by the way, including that in the film, maybe is aged badly very quickly.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah. I think Jordan Peele said that he put it in because Michael Jackson is like it's like an icon of duality.
Yeah.
But there's also, you know, that sort of scene right at the start of the film of the TV screen, which gives you, I can't remember.
It's an advert for Santa Cruz Beach.
An advert for Santa Cruz Beach and an advert for Hands Across America, which is about joining hands across America to highlight the plight of an underclass of American citizens.
It was to end hunger. It was the campaign, right? Yeah.
And next to the TV are video copies of The Goonies, which features like underground, caves and things like that, and Chud, which is a American 80s horror movie from 1984. Chud is an acronym for Cannibalistic Humanoid Underground Dweller.
That's well funny.
So basically, everything that you need to know about the film is in the opening shot. And Jordan Peele just goes, here is everything. Here are all the themes. And now I'm just going to distract you.
Draw them out for like 2 hours. Yeah, I like that. There's also a lot of rich allusions to other horror movies. I think, I can't remember exactly what it is, but let's say when they're on the beach, when the Wilsons visit the beach, that is, and Jason gets lost, she's frantically looking around.
Yeah.
And I think each area she looks at depicts a different horror movie.
Okay.
So there's someone, this is just my reading and I can't really remember it because I didn't write anything down, but there's like someone crawling out of the sand having been buried in this kind of like creature of the Black Lagoon. You got people, I think, maybe with birds, seagulls, I think. There's lots of things like that, and it's like different horror movie motifs are happening around the beach.
Yeah, well, and also that whole scene is a Jaws reference, really.
Right, exactly. And he's wearing a Jaws t-shirt.
And he's wearing a Jaws t-shirt, right?
And he's got a Wolfman mask on.
Yeah, it's basically very richly there's a lot of visual depth to it, which I think it would definitely reward, multiple viewings.
Yeah, absolutely.
It'd be really fun to see him do like 10 of these.
Yeah.
Don't you think? Like if he dedicates his career to making these sorts of films,
absolutely,
it would be really interesting to see what happens. And also I think, it's really an unabashed horror movie, and a lot of people assign it this term elevated horror, which really annoys me because I think that term is really pretentious, and it's basically a way for clever people to say, I don't like horror films, but
I like this one.
I like elevated horror.
So what's elevated horror?
Well, elevated horror would be something like Get Out or Hereditary or something like that, where basically
there's perhaps greater literary value in it.
Yeah, it's a term that has really come to the forefront in the last couple of years when we've seen a renaissance in sort of, higher quality horror movies. And people say, oh, it's actually an elevated horror movie, right? Which is just saying it's got thematic depth or it's visually interesting or something like that. But you don't say it's an elevated drama film or it's an elevated musical, right?
Right.
Like either it's just a horror movie, right? It's just a good horror movie is a good horror movie.
Well, no, we've covered 187 of these now.
Yeah.
And the best ones are the ones where there is themes. Yeah. I mean, they have themes on some level.
Right.
Like most of them do. We've watched some stinkers, and you can't deny that there's, the better ones do have another layer of meaning to them.
Absolutely.
And often that is the real horror, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like in Get Out, it depicts the genuine horror of poor race relations.
Yeah, like woke middle class race blindness or whatever.
Yeah. But it tells and it ramps up the tension of the film through that social horror. Obviously, like having your brain removed is different from someone saying they'd vote for Obama for a third term,
Right.
but it all adds up, right?
Yeah. But the point is that, you know, you can have good horror movies and you can have bad horror movies, but they're all horror movies, and you don't have to, like, you know, create this whole subset of the genre,
Yeah.
right? You wouldn't say, like, you know, there are lots of romantic comedies or whatever, but Lady Bird is an elevated romantic comedy,
Right,
Right,
exactly.
or like a teen movie or whatever you want to call it,
Yeah.
right? That is not a way of categorizing movies. You just have good movies and bad movies
Yeah.
within a genre,
Yeah, exactly.
and like the things that we like about horror movies are fairly consistent across that. You know, horror movies are, you recognize a horror movie because it has elements of what we understand to be the calling cards of the horror genre.
Right.
It doesn't matter whether or not the film is good or bad.
No,
It's
that's
just it's just people
being wanky.
being wanky.
Wankers being wanky, mate. Wanker's gonna wank. I think the best parts of the movie were almost certainly any of the confrontations between the realies and the tethered selves,
Yeah.
right? Because, like, mainly because you're forced to see two people doing, like, or see one person acting two roles at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
and they're all done with so much, like, it must have been so fun, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
you've got
yeah.
two, like, almost polarized characters doing it.
Mhm.
But the young kid who played Jason, he was doing, like, the dog snarling and stuff. It's, like,
Yeah.
really, really strong. And then the Zora, her equivalent, I can't remember her name,
Mm-hmm.
but she's got that grin on her face the whole time. It's
Yeah.
so really intense. It's great.
Well, and also the first time Lupita Nyong'o speaks as tethered.
Red, right? Yeah.
Well, she is Adelaide technically, isn't
Right.
she? So this is
yeah.
going to get complicated.
Yeah, right.
But the tethered version of Adelaide,
Yeah.
the first time
Croaky.
Well, yeah, but it's a really distinctive and unexpected voice.
Yeah,
isn't it?
everyone sort of goes, "Ooh."
Yeah, and the laugh that she does as well, where it's like, like it's really horrible.
yeah. Do you think the twist at the end reframes everything that came? I mean, obviously it does, but in what way does it reframe it?
So the twist that you mean is that Red and Adelaide switched places
Before the
events of the film.
Yeah.
I think it does reframe the movie. I think it reframes it thematically in a way that isn't necessarily entirely positive, because for me it felt, just after I'd seen it, it felt like it slightly undermined the themes that the film had been developing, or
Yeah.
apparently developing, because it felt like for the most part it's a film about a social underclass and a subsequent revolution,
Yeah.
right? But for once you're seeing it from the perspective of the people who have everything to lose,
Yeah.
rather than the people who are
Trying to gain it.
right,
Or
exactly.
trying to level the playing field.
Yeah. There's also a film in there that is, you know, the theme is there is evil, or there is a monster inside all of us.
Yeah.
And it's nurture, not nature, which results in your personality, right?
Right, okay.
Because
So if-
Red becomes a civilized individual because of the environment that she grows up in, implying that, you know, all the tethered could perhaps learn to speak, learn to have civilized lives, but because they're kept in this social situation,
Yeah, they're deprived of the exposure to those things.
right,
Yeah.
exactly. So in some ways those two themes do go together quite well, and, you know, like you say, it's about whether or not a group could thrive given the right circumstances.
Yeah.
But I think this is slightly undermined by the fact that it basically positions all the tethered people as monstrous, unthinking murderers, because it's quite difficult to see them as sympathetically as maybe the film would like you to, because despite their treatment and the way that they've been raised or kept or whatever,
Yeah.
imprisoned, it's quite difficult to feel sorry for them when they're going out and just like
Bludgeoning people, yeah.
senselessly murdering people with scissors. You know, you don't feel sorry for the doppelganger of the White family while they're stabbing the teenagers to death, right?
Right, of course, yeah.
It's difficult to feel sorry for them.
Yeah, but then I guess you're supposed to not. You're supposed to be scared of him at that point.
Yeah.
It's only at the end. There's two reframings. There's one where it's like, oh, actually, they aren't monsters. They are victims.
Mm-hmm.
And then the twist that she was one all along doesn't really change that.
No, I suppose not. But
It's like if you were watching a Les Mis, but you didn't know that they were just like being dicks.
Yeah.
They're shooting people in the street because they're like, but you didn't know the reason they're doing it.
yeah,
But then I think at the end you probably are on the side of the tethered to an extent.
I guess so. Yeah.
You don't justify the murders, but you get like, oh, it must be shit living in a hole in the ground.
Yeah. Also, I think it's worth saying that I don't know. I want to sort of talk about how much it bothered you, like the supposed sort of geography of everything.
Yeah, well, because if you were like in theory, you've got the entire population of the United States under Santa Cruz Beach, right?
Well, yeah, but is it? So the film opens with a title that says there are millions of miles of tunnels under America. Some are subway tunnels, etc., and some have no known purpose.
Yeah.
Which is obviously later, in retrospect, it's implying that this network of tunnels exists across the country.
Yeah.
So, but I think a lot of people have taken issue with the logistics of that.
Right, because if you get in a plane.
Right,
Like,
or
yeah.
anything, right? So they don't live in Santa Cruz. So did Red, walk from wherever they
Yeah, right.
actually live? But I just think it doesn't matter. It's not about the. It's fantastical enough.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
To for it to not matter to me.
Yeah, that's fine. I agree with you. Like it doesn't matter at all. And the other question I do have about it is like, what's the outcome? What's the intended outcome of the Hands Across America?
Well, it's to raise awareness, isn't it? Which is the same as what the original Hands Across America
agree,
is.
But if you're raising awareness, if the people who you're raising awareness to are dead,
Yeah. Well, they're not all dead, are they?
well, they're dying. That's like step one is kill the people you're tethered to. Step two is join Hands Across America.
Is it? I don't think people exclusively kill their tethered, because the twins attack, or like the
Right.
White family attack it, right? So
They-
to some extent,
did they attack Blue Pizza? Did they attack her? 'Cause
Adelaide.
Adelaide,
Yeah,
right?
they
'Cause
do, yeah.
The question I've seen mentioned online is whether whether other tethered knew she was tethered.
Right. I think they do. I don't think they. I think they just attack her.
Yeah.
And I can't remember the white guy's name. He attacks the dad, in the boat.
That's true. Yeah.
So they do attack people other than their own tethered. The tethered version of the girl attacks a man in the street as well.
To get off
my car.
Yeah.
So I think to me it feels like they come out of the ground, have a sort of violent uprising, and do that on the way to their location where they're going to
Right. They're sending
do
a
the
message
Hands Across America.
and then sending a message.
Yeah.
Sending a message on their way to sending a message.
Right. Yeah. Because it's like 6 million of them, right? Or something.
It's a lot.
Yeah. It would
But
have
it's
to
not,
it would
it's
have
not
to
the
be,
population of Earth.
no, but it would have to be like 6 million of them, I think.
How do you feel about the line, who are you? We're Americans.
Well, that is, I think, and obviously the film is called Us or US or whatever.
Yeah.
I think that is a pretty, again, that's Jordan Peele laying it out, isn't it? He's saying that whatever middle class preconceptions you might have about the American social underclass, eventually you're going to understand that they're the same as you, but just in different circumstances. I think that's a pretty that's the film really putting stuff out there, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, in its title.
No, I mean with that line saying that we are Americans.
Are Americans. Now, lots of theories abound about this movie.
Mhm.
I've made a list of some of the best ones I found
Okay.
online.
And some of the worst ones, I hope.
Of course. No, I haven't got any bad ones. Actually.
Okay.
Have you?
I've got some, but they're basically the main theory that seems to be going around is that everyone is secretly a tethered.
Right, okay. So the Jason one is the most compelling. Jason being the son. The theory I saw is that he was switched, and the reasons for that are he forgot his magic trick.
Mm-hmm.
but he didn't actually forget it. He never learned it because he was switched. And the original one was badly burned in the process of learning the trick. I don't know. While at the beach, instead of building sandcastles, he was building tunnels, which is interesting. When both of the boys are in danger, the mums realise that the switch had happened, and each of them focuses on their child. As in, like...
When Pluto walks backwards into the fire...
Yeah, she's like...
Red is focused on her.
Yeah.
On him.
You can see in her eyes how sad he is when she is when he burns alive. At the end, he has realised that his mother at one point has also switched bodies. That's not quite what happens. But she gives him a look almost like, I know what you know, and then puts on his mask as a symbol of the masks that they will now wear for the rest of their lives.
It's reading a lot into it, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think. Because you could explain stuff, you could explain most of that away.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Pluto is in danger because the kid sort of compels him to walk backwards into the fire, and that is just what is in Red, Adelaide, whoever you want to say's eye line, and that is a distraction so that Adelaide can kidnap Jason.
Yeah,
so
Red can kidnap Jason.
Yeah. But like the tunnels, I think is just a cheeky nod.
Yeah.
The theory that I like about the scarred face is that every time we see Jason practicing his trick and not doing it, like next to his face, it's working in the underground.
Ooh.
So Pluto is just scarring his face repeatedly from being compelled to do that trick over and over again.
Jeez, it's rough, isn't it?
Yeah.
Some other theories I liked. I'm quoting these directly from Reddit. I enjoyed how Tim Heidecker's shadow acted like a drunk arsehole all the time, not because he actually was one, but because he spent decades mirroring one. I was also surprised by Elizabeth Moss. Her role was short, and I didn't think she would be very important in the beginning, but her tethered version was awesome, and her silent cry and laugh is chilling. So she's crying because her husband's being murdered, right? But she's like laughing while she's crying. So she's doing like a hysterical laugh, but like tears running down her face. Do you think that's saying something about Elizabeth Moss's character?
Well, the thing that I read about the character is that
the plastic surgery thing.
Possibly, yeah. With she starts cutting her face.
Yeah, because she's had plastic surgery. Elizabeth Moss's character had plastic surgery, and the tethered version has like cuts all over her face.
Right.
She tried to do it herself.
Well, there's that, or there's the because the protagonist Adelaide, she gets pressed into the coffee table at one point and gets a cut across her face. That the tethered version of Elizabeth Moss's character cuts her face in the same place, which is a demonstration of how Elizabeth Moss felt about Adelaide. Because, at the beach, she's saying, I've had a bit of plastic surgery. And Adelaide's like, oh, no, I wouldn't do that. And she's like, oh, you bitch, or whatever, that you don't need it or whatever. Right. So it's like she's cutting her face so that she looks like Adelaide.
Interesting.
With all of these theories, there's an extent to which it becomes fan fiction, right?
Of course.
The other one that I've heard is that Zora is a tethered as well, that's why she doesn't like running anymore.
Yeah.
Like, it's just,
there's plenty of, I mean, these are all probably deliberately ambiguous.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of it just comes down to Jordan Peele having fun, doesn't it?
Yeah. The father playing whack-a-mole, where you hit animals back underground. The shot of the frisbee landing on it's a red frisbee that covers a blue circle on the towel, revealing the fact that red covers blue. Fuck the police coming straight from the underground. Knock knock, who's there? You. You who? Is the joke that is said at some point. Those are all good.
I mean, these are all like little nods.
Yeah, not theories.
No.
Yeah. They're not like fleshed out themes.
Yeah.
But there you go.
Yeah, there's a lot of depth there, and I think it is interesting. But I think the social underclass sort of stuff is, I think,
strongest.
Yeah.
So doppelganger movies. We've covered one in Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Yeah. Well, we've covered Black Swan as well.
That's true. Have you seen Enemy?
No.
Denis Villeneuve movie with Ryan
Gyllenhaal.
Jake Gyllenhaal. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good. It's very good. But like most Denis Villeneuve movies, leaves you feeling hollow.
Which is how it should be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But is this the best doppelganger movie you've seen?
I don't think it's.
I think it'll become the iconic one.
Do you think more than Invasion of the Body Snatchers?
I think so.
Okay. I think that is a better movie.
Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Yeah, the one that we covered with
Keith is dead. Donald Sutherland.
Yeah. And I don't think it's as good as Black Swan either.
No, definitely not.
But then this is less straightforwardly a film about someone's double, right? Because most films about a double are aspirational in terms of like there is another version of you who is the ideal version of you in every way, like the more successful one, in career or romantically or whatever.
Right, that's the Dostoevsky one, right?
Yeah, exactly. With
Right, there's a
and
guy
the
who
Richard Ayoade directed movie. Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, and I think that's what sets us apart from something like The Double or Black Swan is that it's reverse aspirational, you know.
Right.
It's like
there's a version out there of you that is like your evil twin.
Yeah, or it's like the version you don't realize how lucky you've been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's true.
It's basically middle class privilege coming back to haunt you, isn't it?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But good film.
Yeah. Although a homeless man who holds up a cardboard sign for his entire life at a fairground also gets murdered. So it's not all about class war.
But did he still have a better life than the guy?
Well, I suppose so. Yeah, just holding up a sign underground.
Yeah. Can you imagine? I like the people playing rock, paper, scissors, and they're just like going like waving their hands around because they don't get it. That was a good like.
It's creepy, isn't it?
What
the underground mirror world,
like a room full of people on a roller coaster. They're just like putting their hands in the air in silence. Yeah, just rocking backwards and forwards.
Yeah, and like I think some people have a real problem with that, but it doesn't bother me because I think it's really good imagery and it's not. I don't think it's supposed to be sort of understood quite as literally as some people are taking it.
No, right. I mean, people are going to be nitpicky about movies.
Yeah.
And then they're going to make podcasts about them.
Yes, exactly.
So, with all that said, Chris, if you were unfortunate enough to find yourself being accosted by yourself in the dead of night, how would you survive?
Well, here's one bit of advice for the operators of the experiment.
Okay.
By which I mean the whatever agency was in charge of creating the tethered. I don't know if we mentioned the tethered are there supposedly to exact control. Like, you know, if they can control the tethered version, it will control the above ground people.
Is that what they say?
That's the aim of the experiment originally, I think, but it didn't work.
And they feed them rabbits.
Exactly, Joe. Right. Now, have you heard of something called rabbit starvation?
No.
So rabbit is very, very lean, extremely lean meat.
Okay. Wouldn't know, mate. Don't eat it, do I?
I know you don't. Is that because you're a vegan, is it, Joe?
Well, I wasn't going to bring it up.
Well, you did. Rabbit is very, very lean meat. There's basically no fat on it at all. And the result of that is that people who eat just rabbit suffer from a condition called rabbit starvation, where despite the fact they eat enough calories, they don't get enough fat. And so their body suffers as a result. Right. And people can end up starving even though they're eating enough.
Wow.
Which is one theory about what happened to Christopher McCandless, the guy from about whom Into the Wild is made.
He just ate too much rabbit.
Yeah, essentially. So basically, if you want people to grow into fully formed versions of above ground people, pick another form of sustenance because they're not going to get the fat they need and they're going to die.
Yeah. Maybe a bit of oily fish.
Yeah. Something like that would be good. A varied diet is good for anyone, Joe.
Yeah,
I
that's true.
think. But it seems like even when the experiment was ongoing, the rabbits were very much the only food stuff.
That's true.
Which is irresponsible. One of many irresponsible parts of that experiment.
Yeah. So the above ground people are feeding each other like popcorn.
Yeah.
And the below ground are just like slapping each other in the face with slabs of
Yeah,
dead
but
rabbit.
there's in that scene where they're cutting between the tethered people and the above ground people. There's a scene where they walk. Adelaide walks past a bunch of dining tables.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, and then they cut to the people tearing bits of rabbit apart raw.
That's fine. That's
Yeah.
fine, mate.
Yeah.
Have you eaten rabbit?
I don't remember ever eating rabbit.
I've cooked it a few times in my life.
Yeah.
Not now because I'm vegan, but
Are you?
yeah.
How about you? Have you got any ideas?
Don't eat rabbit because it's bad for.
Oh, don't eat rabbit. Fine.
This is for the rabbits.
Yeah.
Just don't be eating because it's really bad to be.
Well,
eaten.
stay in the cage actually,
Yeah.
because can't be eaten in a cage.
Yeah. Tip is for the doppelgangers, the tetherids.
Mm-hmm.
Less talk, more battering is my advice.
Less talk, more battering.
Yeah. So they break in and she's like, "You've got me here because you've enjoyed a privileged life." If you were just like, right, old Abraham, kill him, bang, 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 dead, then done.
Job done.
Then you won't die. They all end up dead.
So it's the classic thing that we keep coming back to again and again.
Monologuing's not easy for this person, but she does it anyway.
Yeah. Takes double the amount of time that it would take anyone else.
I would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for you meddling kids.
Yeah. Where do you come down on the debate of whether or not Adelaide remembers being switched?
No, I think she does.
So you think
that's why she doesn't want to go back to the beach?
No, I mean Adelaide. So
right.
The tethered
Adelaide. Let's say Croaky Adelaide is the one who invades the house.
Okay, so do you think Croaky Adelaide remembers being switched?
Yeah.
You think she does?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
But then it doesn't. Then that begs a lot of questions, doesn't it? Like, why not just try and escape?
Yeah.
Does she remain tethered? Is it just like she's gone through the mirror and mirror version has come out of the mirror? If you know.
Well, this is part of the reason why I don't think you should think too hard about like how
logistics,
the mechanics of the tethered thing works, because it's people are like, oh, well, it doesn't make any sense because you just go through a door and then down an escalator. And it's like, yeah, but then also like it's in a hall of mirrors and
why
mirrors.
Would you ever go down there?
Well, and also a hall of mirrors is thematically it's basically you go into a thing where there's like multiple possible versions of yourself and you enter through one of those portals to find this alternate reality. I think it's supposed to work on that sort of level as much as it is supposed to be like
what if in the Hall of Mirrors,
geographically under the Hall of Mirrors
in the Hall of Mirrors, like one of them isn't showing your face, it's showing the back of your head.
Right.
That's how it starts.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, let's think about what happens there. So it's
it's based on a nightmare that Jordan Peele had, right? Where he's like at a train station and he looks across the platform and there's another version of himself, right?
Yeah.
So it's supposed to be nightmarish.
Yeah. Was it you who said you'd be fine with meeting yourself?
No, that was you.
Yeah, but we were with someone else as well.
Yeah.
Two of us agreed it would be good to meet ourselves,
right?
And one of us agreed it wouldn't, and you were the one who'd be like, "No, that'd be weird."
Yeah, it would be weird.
You
were like, "Oh, I'd love to meet myself because I'm such a great guy."
Yeah, right. Yeah, it'd be so fun. I could sack you off the podcast. It'd be Joe and Joe talking about movies.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Chris
with the magic of editing, Joe, you're welcome to do that yourself, and I just won't bother turning up.
Yes.
I'll still get my share of the ad revenue, though.
All that ad revenue.
Yeah, exactly.
When are the Lambos coming?
I don't know, mate. I think they're. I think we've got to get the Bugattis sold first.
Do you agree? Let's talk more battering.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that I've brought up time and again. It's by this point a how to survive top tip. I think.
Yeah.
Just get on with it. Get on with the battering.
Don't play with
your food.
Don't play with fire as well.
Yeah.
That's.
Yeah.
I mean, if they were like, you know what? It was the flicking toy thing is annoying. I don't know how they put up with that. I'd have like said like, oh, take it off the kid. And
Wait
say it's
until you
lost.
have kids, mate,
Yeah,
and
then
then
I'd lose it.
yeah.
Honestly.
Well, yeah.
But
Like, that's not that annoying. I doubt. Like as things go.
Well, you think like there's more annoying things.
Yeah, like like little plastic toys or whatever.
Or making like them talking is more annoying than the toy.
No, I mean the toy, like making shit noise or whatever.
Right.
You know, if you had like a children's toy, I'm sure there are much more annoying children's toys out there.
Yeah,
I remember like Bop It. Imagine
yeah.
that, just like 24 hours a day for
Bop It.
16 years.
Yeah.
That's what your life looks like when you start having children.
That's Bop It for you.
Yeah.
Remembered by two people who haven't played it in years. Do they still do it?
I don't know. Send us a Bop It. If anyone from Bop It is listening.
Yeah. This podcast brought to you by Bop It. Now, just a quick message here. Have you
ever wanted to flick it and then not had any vessel through which you may flick it?
Have you ever wanted to annoy your parents? Yeah, Bop It is good fun.
Yeah, that's what I like about this podcast is that you're
Not
not going
afraid
to
for
you're not going to
emotion.
listen to like Kermode and Mayo,
Yeah.
and they're going to go from a
They're
review
not
about-
going to get bored 5 minutes before the end and start talking about toy.
Yeah,
They're not going to do
exactly.
it, are they?
No,
Let's talk about how to survive some more
yeah.
because I really want to get into this because I haven't got any more ideas. And
Well, I've got two more.
Okay,
so
go on.
let's
share.
test this out.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. This is a piece of advice for Adelaide / protagonist / Red
wait. So, croaky or non-croaky?
non-croaky protagonist character.
Our point of view character for the
Yeah.
movie.
So
right?
Red. Are
Yeah.
we coming down on that?
No,
Well, she is.
she's called Adelaide, and the other one calls herself Red.
Okay, fine. Adelaide.
The lady who calls herself Adelaide.
Yes.
Yeah.
Non-croaky.
Yeah.
Piece of advice for her. Just go on holiday somewhere else.
Yep.
Lots of places in the world. I know it's their parents' house, right?
Mhm,
You know, they get to stay there for free or whatever. Just sell the house,
Yeah.
go off somewhere else, enjoy yourselves,
Yeah. You haven't got many
have a lovely
like,
time.
memories there
Yeah.
that you are worth having.
Right, the tethered aren't going to follow you to Antigua or
No.
Sri Lanka or New Zealand, right?
No.
Just go off, have a lovely old time. You'll be in your hotel room, down by the pool, kids having a whale of a time. You turn on the TV. Oh, look, hundreds of thousands of people have been murdered across America, including in Santa Cruz. Well, that was a good thing that I was so traumatized by that thing that happened in my childhood that I didn't want to go back there. When you know that Adelaide switched out with Red
Yeah.
at the start of the film, and she's basically been a fugitive ever since.
Yeah. She's living a lie. And
Right.
Yeah.
How risky is that to go to
Go
like,
back to, well, that's why she's so worried. She's
well, yeah,
devastated.
but don't,
Yeah.
but kick up more of a fuss then.
Maybe
Just be like, look, I went to Santa Cruz loads of times when I was a kid. Fucking hated it.
Yeah.
It was shit. Let's not do that. Let's go to any other beach.
What about the draw of the Tyler family?
They don't seem to like each other.
No.
None of them seem to like each other. This is one of those like very adult like family relationships where I don't know if your parents have them as well,
Right.
where you just seem like what is anyone getting out of this?
I don't think my parents have them
The
anyway.
mums don't like each other
Yeah.
because there's all that like backbiting sort of bitchiness, I think, going
Yeah.
on. The twins hate the girl and think
And the
the
son,
boy is weird,
Yeah.
and the men are just swinging their dicks at each other.
Yeah.
It's no fun for anyone, is it?
No, I suppose not.
The mum, the Elizabeth Moss just gets drunk all the time. It's rubbish. Rubbish holiday, waste of time, go somewhere else.
I thought of an apt way to put what I was trying to say earlier about Elizabeth Moss's character. Do you think that when she's crying and she's laughing is because she's faking her happiness as as real Elizabeth Moss?
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So
That's
when
good.
she's sad, she's trying to cover it by laughing, but actually, like her husband's just been murdered in front of her. Basically.
Yeah. My last point then, which is just something I guess that we can just debate to whether or not Adelaide should have taken Red with her. You know, she says, "You could have taken me with you." right?
Yeah. Wait.
D-
When?
When they switch at
Yeah.
the start,
Yes.
rather than
When's that line delivered?
right towards the end of the movie.
So the reveal has happened.
I don't know that the reveal. The reveal has happened that they saw each other, right? But it hasn't been revealed that they've switched.
Right. So you think
You think that Red
that-
is saying you could have taken me out of this hell,
Yeah.
and we could have blown this whole thing wide open.
Yeah. Rather than what she's really saying, which is you should not have left me here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which she shouldn't have done.
Yeah.
Rather than choking her into unconsciousness and dragging her body down there and handcuffing her to a bed, she could have just gone.
Come on, man.
Yeah,
How
or she
weird,
couldn't.
yeah.
She couldn't have said that because she didn't have the vocal skills for it.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you run to the parents or just run to anyone, it's going to come out eventually, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Because people are going to be like, "Why are there two identical versions of this child?"
Why indeed, but why also? Why is your reaction as soon as you see someone who looks like you to just choke them to death and then drag them downstairs? And because she doesn't know what's going on. It's not that she's
No.
like aware of what's above.
Well, that's the thing. Actually, is like how.
Look before you leap, right?
Yeah, but how much do you think that the untethered people have any sort of concept of their status, of their plight, before Red comes down?
That's the question.
I don't know.
She
But
comes
anyway,
down as a someone who comes to enlighten them.
Yeah.
She descends
From the
bodily
heavens.
from heavens,
yeah.
then goes back up again to liberate them. Not one of them, but one who walks among them as a gift from above, who has got miraculous talent and is able to tell them the truth about the world they inhabit.
So you think it's a thinly veiled Christ metaphor?
You could be.
Maybe.
Another one of the many readings that you could make of this very well made film. Looking forward to his next one.
Yeah.
Any announcement will that be?
No. Well, he's doing the Twilight Zone series. He's exec producing the Twilight Zone series.
Is it that he's making a series, or is it that he? Because I thought he was doing just like a curated picking of old versions.
No.
He's remaking old ones. Or
Well,
he's making new
I don't
ones?
know that he's remaking old ones. I think there may be some premises that are the same,
Yeah.
but I don't believe that they're not remakes, strictly speaking.
Right. Okay. Are you a Twilight Zone fan?
I've never really watched them.
They're very good.
Yeah,
I'm-
I'm surprised you're not more up on it actually on his version of it.
I saw the Super Bowl trailer,
Right.
but I haven't seen.
I think 2 of them have aired in America now.
Really.
Yeah.
Oh, check them out.
To relative acclaim.
Good. It's Jordan Peele as a Black Mirror, isn't it?
Essentially,
Yeah.
yeah. Exec producing it rather than writing or directing it.
But
yeah,
still, you'll get his take on it.
Yeah.
I wonder how much Charlie Brooker does Black Mirror now these days.
Well, he's still quite hands-on, isn't he? He still writes and directs quite a few of them, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you can't do all that. You can.
Well,
really
he did
direct.
Bandersnatch, for example.
Yeah, but you couldn't be directing like 6.
No, I did.
What,
Well, maybe he
essentially
doesn't
a
direct all of
feature
them,
films a
actually.
year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
So, Chris, that was a discussion of the film and how we would survive in it,
Mm.
wasn't it? And now we have to talk about emails that we've received from listeners to this podcast.
Yes.
First email comes from Ben Wyatt, who is a frequent contributor to the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I think he hosts the Asia Mania podcast. Ben writes in that he's heard about a wrestling event. So you know, I'm a wrestling fan.
Yeah.
You too are a wrestling fan. You've been known to watch some professional wrestling in your life.
Mm.
I was with you watching it. We've watched it.
Yeah. No.
Were you or were you not at Colt Cabana's
It was.
Edinburgh Fringe
Oh,
show
well, that was-
specifically
yeah.
about wrestling?
Yeah, that was very much for you, for
Now,
your benefit.
So Ben says that he heard about a Bird Box match, which is happening at an independent wrestling show during WrestleMania weekend,
Mm-hmm.
where wrestlers essentially fight blindfolded, which is a good idea. And he suggests some different types of wrestling match based on movies. Home Alone death match, which is where the ring's covered in ornaments and Macaulay Culkin is the guest referee.
Yeah.
Nightmare on Elm Street match, where you can only win by sleeper hold.
Okay.
Bone Tomahawk on a pole match.
right.
right? Because then you can get WCW champion David Arquette into a match.
Mm-hmm.
The Raid match.
Yeah. What would that entail?
Well,
Just
Ben suggests
fighting to the death.
Triple stacked cages. So,
Right.
like,
Okay. So
in each cage, there's a.
he has to fight his way out of a skyscraper made out of cage matches.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Quiet Place. No stomping or thigh slapping allowed.
Okay.
That's all he's come up with. But he says, "Do you have any ideas for movies that might make a good wrestling match?"
Maybe there'd be a good Us one where identical versions of wrestlers would come out from underneath the ring, and they'd have to fight themselves.
Yeah, that's probably been done.
Yeah. Probably.
The Bella Twins would used to do the twin trouble, whatever it's called, where they switch
Double
places.
Trouble?
Oh yeah, it's whatever.
Yeah.
So they'd win matches by duplicitously changing when the referee's back was turned. Happens all the time, I'm sure. So there's that. I think maybe Crank could make a good one.
Mm-hmm.
You have to wear a heart rate monitor.
Right. So if their heart rate drops below a certain rate.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be good.
And then another email here from Dylan, who says, "Hi Joe and Chris / Chris and Joe," recognizing that there's an important attack on ego that could take place if you get it wrong.
But he's got it both ways round.
Yeah. And they're written diagonally, so there's no no prominence. I'm a big fan of the show, and I'd like to recommend 2 movies for you to take a look at. Both are titled Escape Room, and both came out in 2017. Escape Room, directed by Will Wernick. A group of rich friends get taken to an escape room, but the game takes a deadly turn.
Mm-hmm.
Escape Room, directed by Peter Dukes. 2 horror movie buffs take their girlfriends to an escape room, but the game takes a deadly turn. One is available on Netflix and one is available on Now TV, and I'll say in advance that I enjoyed one of these as a schlocky fun horror movie and thought the other was terrible. Either way, I'd love to know how you two would survive. Keep up the good work, Dylan.
Are you still yet to do an escape room?
I've done 2.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they're good.
They're all right.
I've never seen either of the escape room films, though.
No. Will you add them to the list?
Why not? Escape Room
Season.
Squared. Yeah.
Yeah, Escape Room season. What's up next on the old podcast, mate?
Well, Joe, up next is another doppelganger psychological horror movie.
Mm-hmm.
And that's called Cam, which came out last year, directed by Daniel Goldharb.
Yep.
And it's about a cam girl who begins to see some mysterious goings on.
Yeah. I don't think there's a spoiler to say that
There's another version of her.
Yeah.
Who starts streaming.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's available on Netflix worldwide. I think it's a Netflix distributed movie.
Yeah. What do you think of it?
You have to wait until next week to find out.
All right. So, with that said, kiss my anus.